Key pound.
In a world,
Get the hell up!
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
What is up, Panther fans? It's Super Bowl week, right? The Super Bowl is upon us. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll have a little bit to talk about with that. But we're really here to chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. We've got a fun show tonight. Big potential blockbuster trades that could help the Carolina Panthers. Will Austin Corbett remain with the team? How can the Panthers prioritize getting weapons for Bryce Young? And Adam Thielen coming back to Carolina. And there's no one I'd rather talk about the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective than my wheelman, Cody Lack.
Tony Dunn. Listen, I have labeled the show tonight. Panthers could make major trades, pay off in spades. And Dan Morgan has already said that he intends to be very aggressive in the offseason to the degree that he can. And what would be more aggressive? What would make more of a statement on fixing the Carolina Panthers defense than making a trade for Myles Garrett? Is this just another carrot being dangled out in front of the Carolina Panthers? Or could this team actually have a shot? Cooper Kupp is a name that we're going to talk about tonight. Would he be worth the draft capital to go and get him from the Rams? We're going to talk about all that and more and preview the Super Bowl. But Tony Dunn, you know I wouldn't want to do this without the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. And you know they're in the chat room. It's Antonio Mickelham, the brand ambassador, Diesel Skills. What's up, brother? Panther Pickle in the building. My man Kyle, Charlotte Sports 1. Drew with the flu. Kristen Butler, what's up? Stonewall. Tim Estes. VR the Hope Dealer, and your bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso. Tony Dunn, it's Tuesday night. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. We appreciate your time. Go ahead and subscribe to the show, like, and share on whatever social media platform you're finding or getting this content from. Guys, we're all also live tonight on Instagram for the first time. So go over there, and I guess I'm going to have to start building another dang social media platform. I got to invest some more time in, but it's time to invest in this Panthers talk. Tonight's show, Panthers could make major trades, pay off in spades. And I think the opening salvo of this comes with the information that Myles Garrett has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. And that's what he said here, Cody. He said, as a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. And that goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man I am today. While I love calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It's always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I've requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. My question to you, Cody, is why the heck would he come to Carolina? I saw some other Panther fans talk about this. It's like, oh, and they're the guys that don't like, they're a group of people that don't like Jadeveon Clowney and DJ Wanham as the tandem. And they're like, oh, we're good. We got Clowney and Wanham here. Garrett don't want to come here. The Panthers aren't Super Bowl bound next year or next 2 years, probably.
Yeah, but here's the conundrum that the Cleveland Browns find themselves in. He says that he wants to win a Super Bowl, so he wants to go to a contender. That means you're going to a team that's picking in the latter half of the first round. The Cleveland Browns do not want to accept late first-round picks for Myles Garrett because you're not going to find a Myles Garrett caliber of player in the late 20s to the early 30s. So they're in a real conundrum right now. But as you read, Tony, Garrett made it definitive. He wants out of Cleveland. He wants to go to a contender. According to Pro Football Talk, A Myles Garrett trade before March 16th would trigger a 2025 dead money charge of $32.95 million. The Browns are already projected to be more than $27 million over the 2025 cap. So someone did a breakdown of it from the a dog pound. It's a Cleveland pod. What they were saying is it looks like the cap charge for a trade before the fifth day of the year would be $32.95 million. His existing number for 2025 is $19 million. The Browns are projected to be $27.5 million over the cap with a dead money of $39 million, dude. That Deshaun contract is just bananas, dude. How they've wasted the prime of him and Nick Chubb.
Wasted the prime of him. They didn't waste the prime of him. Deshaun Watson was a bum when he came.
No, I mean, Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb.
Okay.
How their primes were wasted on terrible quarterbacks and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Most of his compensation from 2025 comes in the form of an $18 million option bonus due on March 16th. If he refuses to play, the Browns would be able to recover the money based on the terms of payment. If, for example, it's paid out in equal installments during the Week 18 regular season, they could simply withhold it and not have to try to recover it. So, Tony, what's your initial thoughts before we jump in on what Dean Jones from Cat Crave had to say about Myles? Dude, what bigger statement that you're trying to fix this terrible defense than number 95? Julius Peppers 2.0, man. Come on.
I mean, look, it's certainly adding the premier pass rusher and the premier defensive end in the league would be exciting and a great addition to a team that has no defense really at all, right? So there's nothing to dislike about the idea of adding the player to Carolina. The difficulty of that is, he's gotta want to go play somewhere, and is that he doesn't want to go from. I can't imagine that it would be enticing for him to go join the Patriots right now, or to go join the Panthers right now, or go to the Saints or something like that. Is this guy, wants to go be a Washington Commander or something to that effect, or a team that's the team that I would be interested in going to if I was Myles Garrett. Is you go from the AFC to the NFC, they could have that, and you've got this young budding superstar quarterback in Jaden Daniels. I just don't know. I mean, what are you talking about? Maybe going to San Francisco? There's some questions. They're kind of in that. I think he would also want to go to a team that just is in a division that is winnable and competitive, or that like a team can compete in that division. I just don't think the Panthers would be a destination that he would be interested in going to.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just, like I said, you're in a bit of a rough spot if you are Myles, because there are only a certain number of teams that are going to be able and willing to do this. You want them to be a contender, but is there any way possible that Myles would see us as a team that is building, that he could slide in and, with another offseason and another full draft of nothing but potentially defensive players? Maybe. Tony, it's even been floated that the Carolina Panthers could even give up their number 8th overall pick. And Tony, my question to you is, and Dave even said that it could be more than one first-round pick, but damn, if Myles Garrett isn't worth the 8th overall pick in the draft, what defensive player are you going to draft who's more worth it than him? I mean, who?
It would be a player that it would just be a player that has the future potential to be a superstar. But this is the benefit of, this is why going after, sometimes I've supported the idea of making a trade like this for a proven commodity in a time. Now, I mean, is Myles Garrett, like, he's in his prime, or he's on the back end of his prime, maybe?
29 years old.
Okay, so he's
never had a season of under 10. Never had under 10 sacks in the season.
So he's like a Brian Burns level player. Oh, wait.
Yeah, almost that level.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't have a issue. To me, it doesn't. I don't got a problem playing, getting a player right away that is an elite player, right? I mean, so to me, moving the 8th pick for a player of that caliber is not a problem for me. It's just, how, again, I do have a or maybe some hesitation or trepidation when it comes to multiple first round picks, something like that. Or, where it becomes, but a first round, I mean, hey, number 8, who are you going to get that at 8 that's going to be better in the next 3 years?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Nobody.
Like, even if you draft a Mason Graham or an Abdul Carter, there's no guarantee that they're going to be on the level of a Myles Garrett of all people, man.
I mean, think about Michael Parsons, man. Michael Parsons was that kind of had that last year, but
yeah,
I think that Myles Garrett has proven consistency on top of that. It's like, it's not just that he's an elite player. He's been an elite player for the last 6 years.
Dude, Tony, I'll do you one better. I think we're talking about the best defensive player in football. I mean, can you name a player right now playing defense in the NFL that you can say without a shadow of a doubt that you would take him over Myles Garrett?
No, it would be difficult too. I mean, I have some I like the what is it, Chris Jones? But it's a defensive tackle.
Yeah, Chris Jones, maybe TJ Watt.
Yeah, no, something to that. But no, it's like, I mean, there's nobody is like, I mean, I guess somebody could quibble over who the best defensive end in the league is, but his name's gonna be in the conversation no matter what.
Of course. Shout out to your bastard son. Says trade back and get an extra first for him. I love the idea of potentially trading back this year. That's something that we could definitely do. But so this is from Ryan Harmon. Says the Carolina Panthers own the number 8th overall pick in this year's draft, and while not many see them as a contender, they're a team that could be on the rise. Bryce Young made significant improvements last year, enough to warrant the notion that Carolina could have their franchise quarterback. Would the Panthers be able to do enough in a short amount of time to be considered a real contender? That seems unlikely, but the number 8th overall pick could be very tough to refuse if you're Cleveland. They said negotiating a trade for Garrett would be difficult. Convincing the Texas A&M product that this is a project ready to contend is something else entirely, and that's sort of what you were saying, Tony. You really have to show him a blueprint for how this team is going to be better or more viable than the Browns going forward. They say Garrett is still a better player than almost anyone at his position. He's not getting any younger, so any trade would need his seal of approval. The Panthers made progress over the second half of 2024, but they don't look capable of entering the Super Bowl discussion just yet. I don't know, a lot to unpack there. It just depends on if you can convince him that the Carolina Panthers are one off season away from winning the NFC South. And that's something that we have to remember. This is not a strong division right now. The Saints are a dumpster fire. The Falcons are kind of on the up and up, but they don't really know what they have in Michael Penix. Tampa Bay, probably still the belle of the ball in the division, but I don't know, Tony. The mountain doesn't seem that insurmountable if you're trying to be a playoff team and if you believe in Bryce Young and his future.
I think that would have to be the selling point to Myles Garrett, is that there's a pathway to win the division and get in the playoffs. And there's a pathway to make that happen potentially this year. But that if that is the case, if you can somehow add players like him and add some more to the defense through free agency or the draft and everything like this, is that that this could be a 2 or 3 year run at that division too. So and that's not like, hey, we caught the division in a weak spot, but we caught the division. We're on the ascendance while other teams are on the decline. I think that's the pitch you made to him.
Yeah. This is from Matt Harmon, who also agrees.
Yeah,
that the
used to come
Panthers-
on the show back in the day before he blew up.
Yeah, so check out what Matt had to say about it.
Panthers are going to win the South next year, and I think the Panthers
Let
could
me
be a
start over.
sneaky bunch of like these shows that are like,
Oh,
let's theorize. I think the Panthers are going to win the South next year, and I think the Panthers could be a sneaky Myles Garrett spot. Number one, because like nobody talks about the Panthers, so I guarantee you when you get a bunch of like these shows that are like, let's theorize Myles Garrett spots, Panthers probably not going to come up. But I think the offense is pretty much set in Carolina. Like they could use one more guy in the receiver room unless Xavier Legette takes like a big step in his second season. I do think they need like a man coverage beating X receiver because I don't think that's Legette's role. Adam Thielen's still playing pretty good football for them, and Jalen Coker's the man. Like that guy's a good football player, and he's still like a slot flanker type player, which again does overlap a little bit with Thielen and where I think Legette would be best deployed. So they do kind of need one more receiver, but other than that, offensive line is good. The running back, Chuba Hubbard, is good. I mean, you basically burned the Jonathan Brooks pick, and it probably doesn't even really matter at this point.
We got those couple carries or whatever that was.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I feel for him because I think he would have
been.
been a great compliment
That
for
makes me
Hubbard.
wanna
But
cry.
otherwise, Hubbard's a good player. Like Jatavian
Yeah.
Sanders, interesting tight end. Bryce obviously was playing good football by the end of the season. So I think the offense is generally set. Why not just throw all your resources at the defensive side of the football after having a historically bad performance? And what better way to do it than go trade for Myles Garrett? Like, who cares? I mean, you're going to burn all those picks on defense anyways. You might as well spend them on a guy that
Quality,
is really
Yeah, and Tony, that's my mindset with this.
Yeah.
Like no player that you're going to be getting at number 8 is going to be anywhere comparable to the monster that is Myles Garrett. I saw somebody even mention too that it wouldn't work because he's used to playing 4-3 edge. Dude, is this not like the Julius Peppers thing? Remember, Peppers wanted to leave to Chicago to be
And he went to Green Bay.
with the Green Bay and Chicago, and wanted to be an outside linebacker, and he did. Does anyone think that Myles Garrett, of all people, couldn't play outside linebacker? Give me a break. I don't think that would be a problem at all. And I think when you consider him and Derek Brown on the same line, you draft another player. I don't know, man. That's I'm not hating that.
Yeah, agreed. All right, what do we got next?
All right, let's move on. So another player who Panther fans are contemplating trading over is none other than former Super Bowl champion and Triple Crown winner Cooper Kupp. He took to Twitter to say, "I was informed that the team will be seeking a trade immediately, and we will be working with me and my family to find the right place to continue competing for championships. I don't agree with the decision and always believed it was going to begin and end in LA." So didn't want to move on, but he is. So he's been injured a couple times in the past few years. Incredibly talented. Would this be something beneficial for the Carolina Panthers to consider? Kupp's had some injury troubles in recent seasons, but remains one of the league's best pass catchers when firing on all cylinders. Much will depend on the compensation involved and how much interest there is from teams with better chances to contend. However, the Panthers would be wise to place a call to the Rams and see what it might take to secure his services. Tony, let's say it's in the ballpark of a 3rd or 4th round pick. Would you be willing to make a trade for Cooper Kupp, and considering he's around $30 million next season? Is that too much, or is that the right receiver for Bryce at the right time?
I think that Cooper Kupp is a very good player. I think that, of course, he would enhance a team that doesn't have many very good players or could benefit from more good players. But I think that this is a far different story than a Myles Garrett potential addition, where you get an elite player who at a position group that you just is so dramatic of a need. I'm going to pass. I'm with the chat. A lot of people, I'm just not feeling this for, this is he should go to like Kansas City. Or something.
Yeah, well, not everybody can just go to Kansas City though. I'm sure he
Well,
wants
different division, right? I mean, different conference. I mean, as this is like, I think he's, and I think the injury concerns and the money is like I would be much interested. We're talking later in the show about potential trades, and there are some younger names that I think could be more long-term contributors to the Panthers' success than Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. Much of the chat room is saying we need more speed than what Cooper Kupp is capable of bringing to the Panthers. And yeah, I would agree with that. But I mean, I think seeing what Adam Thielen has been capable of doing, what Jalen Coker has been capable of doing, a player like Cooper Kupp, that would be a perfect fit for Bryce here in Carolina. But I do understand the speed issue. Tony, we've been impressed with Mike Jackson damn near this entire season. And we are not the only people who have noticed that Mike Jackson has been really worthy of the money that we spent to have him on the team and the trade that we made to have him on the team. The Panthers cornerback Mike Jackson was one of the few bright spots on the defense and could earn a sizable raise in the offseason. They mentioned some of the teams that could be in competition for him. They said the Seahawks, the Ravens, the Saints. Mike Jackson would go on to finish the season with 2 interceptions, 17 passes defended, 17 tackles, and a 68 PFF grade, the 42nd best mark of 118 eligible players. Tony, we've talked about re-signing J.C. Horn, but how important is it to bring Mike Jackson back for another year in the fold?
How old is he?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll look it up. I think this is, to me, a no-brainer for the Carolina Panthers. I think that's a reasonable number for a player that's proven that they can play, and you keep him together with J.C. Horn. I say that's a very reasonable number, and we're talking about building a defense, not rebuilding a defense. And when I say that is there's nothing to rebuild. It's time to build this sucker. And we have a couple of players that I think it would just be silly. It'd just be silly for us to not build a defense that had Derek Brown, that had J.C. Horn. And to me, this is a player that you add to those guys to make them better. So I'm all for Mike Jackson, 3-year, 4-year deal. And we'll figure out when how old he is. I'll check it out right
now. Spotrac is projecting him to receive around the order of a 3-year, $23 million deal on the open market.
He's 28. He's 28. Yeah, let's get the 3 years of probably the prime of his career.
Yeah. Now it would be him and J.C. Horn in the same year. If you're going to still pay JC. Fine.
You signed J.C. Horn to a longer-term deal. You signed Mike Jackson to a medium deal. I'm okay with it. Is that all we got on Mike Jackson? Because it's time, I think. Yep. All right. I want to remind everybody that the C3 Panthers podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy Sports. With their pick'em game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on players' stats, yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and more. They've got your favorites, leagues, teams, stars to choose from. You can do hockey right now with the Carolina Hurricanes. You can get in there and still get time for the Super Bowl. Let's just see some of the things that you can look at on Underdog. It's the only pick'em platform that puts power to cash out in your hands now. Or you can keep riding with your entry or tap the win now button to cash out whenever you want. Guys, Travis Kelce right now, 62.5 yards receiving. Do you think he goes more or less than that? Devontae Smith, 20.5, your longest reception yards. That's going to be tough there. AJ Brown, first half receiving yards you can get at 31.5. Saquon Barkley. This is what I'm looking at right here. Saquon Barkley, they just needs to get a rush or receiving touchdown, and you win. 213 yards passing for Jalen Hurts. I'm going higher on that. This game is, this could be a defensive matchup, but it's certainly going to be fun. It's a great way to make money and watch football and use your football knowledge, right? Underdog is the best place to pay. Pick 'em, download the app, sign in with the promo code C3P, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code C3P. You deposit first time now, you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Please help us with the promo code C3P. You must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Cody, that was a lot.
Yes, sir. Now you know how I feel. But hey, man, listen. What you say? It's that time. Let's take some cat calls. You down for it?
Yeah, it sounds great.
All right.
The number's 252-228-5098. Get your calls in. Tell us what you think about Cooper Kupp potentially being a Carolina Panther, Myles Garrett. And, guys, we haven't even talked about Cam Newton saying he would rather be MVP than have a Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, we're going to have to have a very honest conversation about that, dude. Oh, I don't want to do it, but we're going to have to.
It's going to be the first time I haven't been.
I know. I've never been more disappointed in him, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, hit us with your calls. Longest running Panthers podcast. We still got a lot to go.
Let's roll.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
To the charismatic CK, the tenacious Tony Dunn, and of course, the incomparable Cody Lack. What's going on, boys? This is the Hope Dealer checking in real quick. Hey, got quite a bit for y'all this Tuesday evening, so I'm gonna try to get this all in one call, but I may have to make a second call back.
Yeah, he has another.
But first, man, I wanna address Adam Thielen, man. I was so excited that Adam Thielen decided to not retire, man, but to come back for the last year of his contract. But now I'm hearing trade rumors that some scouts believe that we should trade away Adam Thielen to see if we could get what we can get, since this is the last year on his contract. So curious to see y'all thoughts about that, man. Also, I heard something interesting regarding Myles Garrett, that he was requesting a trade from Cleveland. I didn't know if y'all thought that we should pursue Myles Garrett, and at what cost, if we do pursue him, or should we just drop that idea and go younger, as far as pass rush. I know we need pass rush, when it comes to the draft.
Yeah.
Anyway, wanted to know y'all thoughts on that. I got a couple of other actually thoughts and questions that I wanted to hit y'all with too, man. So I'm gonna call back. But yeah, this is the Hope Dealer, man. Everybody out there, I'm gonna call back in just a minute, but keep pounding. All right. Bye.
All right. Before we take his second part of his call, we've already addressed the Myles Garrett this discussion, but this is a great way to segue to something that we were going to focus on in the show anyway, and that is Carolina Panthers star Adam Thielen reveals NFL future amid retirement rumors. Adam Thielen is quoted by saying this: "I think that's what's enticed me to want to play again, is just the progression, the leadership, and the type of things that they're doing to create a winning culture," he added. "I really believe in what they're doing, so there's a lot to look forward to, especially with Bryce and his progression. And then, just being able to add some pieces and see what happens." Adam Thielen to return to the Carolina Panthers, but as the Hope Dealer said, there are rumors potentially that because this is the end of his contract, or at the final year, that the Panthers could trade him and try to find some value. I don't think that's a great idea, to be honest, for the Panthers. I think that is the value of having Adam Thielen has proven just to be having a veteran guy who goes out there and plays consistently well, regardless of all the things you could say. He's kind of like Cooper Kupp light in a way, and that is not injury prone, but
he was the OG Cooper Kupp before Cooper Kupp was Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, and like Cooper Kupp had 2 years that were just so incredible. Well, I don't want to take away from Cooper Kupp as being a triple crown, and it's not trying to insult, but is what you got is a sure-handed dude who can find ways. Look, is Adam Thielen? He might be older, he might be slower, and that's what people are talking about with Cooper Kupp. But these guys find ways to be relevant, right, and to be good. Adam Thielen does not look like a liability for the Carolina Panthers wide receiver room. I think that it's nice to hear that he wants to come back, and I think it's needed for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I would want him to come back. He's by far the wide receiver that has the most touches and experience with Bryce Young throwing him the football. I do think that matters for something. And he doubled down about Bryce being someone that could take another step this next year. And I do think he wants to be a part of that process of seeing Bryce go from looking like an abject failure to being the man. I really do think that he believes that in Bryce and sees that about him. I would prefer him to play. I know he mentioned the trade rumors there. I mean, what sort of value would you even get for Adam Thielen right now anyway?
Like a fifth?
Yeah, a 5th or 6th round pick that you have no idea is going to be worth a damn at all anyway. Yeah, that just makes no sense. That if we're going to play him, or if he's going to be under contract for another year, play him. The amount that you would trade him for is negligible at best.
Oh man, we got more Panther or Cam Newton news to talk about. Can Tony Dunn do more burpees than Cam Newton? I got a question about that.
Dude, listen, everybody call in 252-228-5098. The chat room lit up when we brought up Cam Newton. Lots of different opinions about this. I can't wait to talk about it. But let's take the second call from the Hope Dealer.
Hey boys, what's up? It's the Hope Dealer, man. Second call, real quick. So one thing that I wanted to put out there as well. So this year's draft is loaded with tight end talent. I was looking at the draft boards, and I wanted to see as well, man, if y'all thought that we should consider another safety valve for Bryce Young. I know we just got JT Sanders, and he's potentially an ascending tight end, but it's time for us to let Ian Thomas go, man. He's long overdue, and I like Tommy Tremble, but I don't know if he's the guy. So with this year's draft being loaded with tight end talent, wanted to see y'all thoughts on that as well, if we should maybe in the later rounds draft another tight end. But anyway, boys, one last thing, y'all, not Panthers related, but man, I had a close friend of mine, that actually, passed away from a fentanyl overdose. So, I want to let C3 Nation know, man, aside from football, I know it's the off season and a lot of times, man, football is our therapy. Man, if you're struggling with something or if if you got something on your mind or something on your chest, man, just know, man, that you're loved, that you're cared for, man, that you got this community, man. It's deeper than football. Tony Dunn says it all the time, man. But anyway, this the Hope Dealer, man. Keep me in prayer. Keep my friends, family in prayer, man. I love y'all, C3 Legion. Everybody out there, keep pounding.
Keep pounding, brother. So sorry for your loss, man.
Yeah.
Dude, fentanyl, it's one of the fucking most terrifying drugs. When you see people that are addicted to it, it's horrible, man. Sorry for your loss, Hope Dealer.
But what he says is right. Is like this show is meaningful beyond just football. And I mean, while football is the vehicle that we've formed bonds and friendships and support, A lot of people in our community, a lot of people on the panel that do the podcast have been going through crap. And, you know, every human is a lot of times. And it's really incredible when you see it's kind of like the goodness in people. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're sitting here talking shit about football all the time. And somehow we've managed to forge these meaningful relationships that have gone so much deeper. And I can't tell you how appreciative I am of them myself. Cody, let's take another call.
Let's do it.
What's up, y'all? It's Lucas from Far City, North Carolina. Happy Super Bowl week.
What up?
I got a question for you guys. Roger Goodell, he had a press conference at the Super Bowl. Who was the NFL commissioner, if anyone that's listening don't know. And he was questioned about the media yesterday about NFL officiating, which has been a huge topic this year. He said the officials are the hardest working people he knows, and the Kansas City rumors are ridiculous. My question for y'all is, how do y'all feel about the NFL officiating? I think it's gotten really bad lately. And the NFL needs to stop worrying about changing the rules and worry about who's enforcing the rules. The first thing I thought about when I think about how the officiating's gotten really bad is this past season when Tampa at home in Charlotte and that terrible call where Adam Thielen had that touchdown and they didn't even call it. I just want to know what y'all think. Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Keep pounding.
The officiating is a subject that is always a discussion in any sport, and the NFL, because that's the sport that we're talking about. It's always discussion. And officiating sucks when it doesn't benefit you, and officiating is a non-topic when you don't have any problem, when it hasn't caused any problems for you. I don't think that the NFL has a systemic problem with officiating. I think
they do.
You know what is that
every year we're talking about another controversy with the referees fucking up a call in the playoffs.
It's human. There's going to be an element of human error, right? I think and they have started to. And while the caller said don't change the rules, what I think that we're getting to now is an opportunity to change the rules in a positive way. And they're talking about plays where they can pick up flags more and more. And that's where I think that's the way that we start to go with the NFL. As I think there should be, and I've said this for a while on the podcast, is you got the challenge flag, the red flag. I think there should be an orange flag. And the orange flag is when the head official gets a call from New York that's watching the film in live time, and they could have a professional, an official, a trained, how they go to whatever expert official when they have the broadcast and they interpret the rules and stuff, that the NFL should be able to stop. You can do it so quick now. It's not like the old days where they got to go into the thing and look at it, and it takes 20 minutes and it slows the game down.
Yeah.
And I think what the NFL should be able to do is, and not do this lightly, right? Is like not do it on every play, but when there is an egregious play, a penalty that was egregious to the point where it really affected the play. Like, we're not talking about a holding call 15 yards behind where the runner was at or something like that. We're talking about a blatant call that was either missed or made. And I think the NFL should be able to intervene and say, give us 30 seconds. We're going to get this right. And I think that would help just fix a lot of it. And it would lessen the kind of dependency on just that human error, like the human factor of this.
Yeah. And I don't know how you can completely take the human element out of it.
Yeah.
But dude, there are so many times when it just seems like there should be like an ultimate official that has say-so over even the judges on the field.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like an ultimate judge that can make the call based on the best information and evidence from all possible angles. But Tony, it even goes down. Remember, we're talking about Adam Thielen anyway, right? The catch that wasn't a catch that should have been a touchdown earlier this season, there wasn't a good camera angle that any of the broadcast team had to be able to look to see that his knee was down at the best angle. So if you don't have the angle necessary and it's dependent upon whoever's broadcasting the game, if they didn't get the angle necessary, then shouldn't that be on them, especially if a call should have been made and it didn't end up getting made because you didn't have the proper camera angle that you should have had? Like, that just seems dumb to me.
I think there's a simple solution to that, and that is not subcontracting just broadcasting to Fox and all these people. And you just put in, look, you get GoPros, bro. I mean, like, you can have 100 cameras in that stadium that weren't part of the broadcast, but were available to the NFL that don't need to be billion-dollar cameras. Dude, you could do this with my Google Pixel and it would work. You know, and I think this is that making it so, like you're saying, an overarching guy who can say, look, we need 30 seconds. Let's get this right. 30 seconds. Hey, you know what? And you can sell this. We can go meet with Roger Goodell and say this. That's one more commercial opportunity for you to make money from.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Also, the idea has been floated for a long time about, do you pay referees full time? So that way they don't do other shit year round. Their only job is to officiate and perfect officiating professional football.
Yeah. I don't feel like the officials, though, that even though they are paid like incredibly well while they are part-time, you know what I'm saying? They are getting like $10,000 for a game and stuff like, I mean, I don't know what the exact figure is. I don't know if that full-time officials is the answer, unless we just think that the officials that they're getting are just not competent, as in like they don't know what they're doing. You're getting like second-rate guys. That might help. I mean, I think that the full-time officials maybe could make I guess the question is less concerns about making a call to, you know, these guys maybe point shaving or pushing the game in a certain direction or something to that effect. To me, I think it's easier. I think the idea is just get the calls right, you know, is let the officials call the game. But when you see that officials made a mistake, instead of this only them huddling, when they huddle up, they should have an earpiece to New York that says, look, guys, we're not trying to embarrass you, but just say you picked up the flag. We looked at after further review. It's not a foul.
I would rather be right than save face. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
That does save face, right? Doesn't it?
Right.
Save face?
Being right should be paramount. Especially, you know, Kristen Butler mentioned it earlier too. Like, sports betting has creeped its way into every aspect of this, it makes you feel like at some point there's going to be a big ass story of these refs doing shit to either protect the line or protect the money line, or make sure it's the Chiefs by 3 or whatever the fuck it is. And especially every year that the Chiefs are a part of some controversy where the referees gift them some bullshit, it just seems harder and harder to get away from.
Somebody mentioned that in the comments on last week's show when we were talking about the Buffalo Bills Kansas City game. And they said, oh, no, they can't get that right. Vegas won't let that happen or something. And that's and really, I'm actually not, but thanks to our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy Sports. Use the promo code C3P and get up to $1,000 bonus money. If you got a problem, call one of those numbers I mentioned earlier. Cody, what do we got next?
Yeah, let's talk about Austin Corbett, a name that we haven't spoken about a lot recently. Tony, for the most part, we've all been resigned to the fact that we're going to move on from Austin Corbett. But one, shout out to Dean Jones from catcrave.com for helping provide Panthers content in such a drought right now. Appreciate you, Dean. He brings up Spotrac's projections for Austin Corbett increases in hope of a Carolina Panthers stay. Now, this is something that we could do to potentially bring Austin Corbett back. The player outlined his desire to stay in Carolina. Corbett wants to help this team build on a promising second half of 2024, but he acknowledged it was a business above all else. A recent contract projection for the interior presence simplifies the decision for the Carolina Panthers from the Panthers standpoint. They expect Corbett to command a 1-year, $2.68 million deal. The Panthers could easily afford this and retain Mays as a backup/development piece in the event an injury strikes. Now, Tony, he's been injured essentially every year that he's been here in Carolina. 3 years in a row.
Every year since he left the Rams in an injury year.
Yeah.
So yeah, the injury is a problem. But look, is when you're talking about a player, when Austin Corbett has been out there, he has been
He's a badass. The dude is a very good player.
To me, this is a low risk move.
And he played very well at center when a lot of people doubted him and his ability to do so before the season.
What's the worst? I mean, the worst thing is you waste $3 million, and $3 million, that's like the league minimum, the vet minimum. Come on. I mean, that's nothing to me. And I don't think you're going to get in a bidding war for Austin Corbett.
No.
So, I mean, I'm actually, now we think of it like that. But what it would take is like the Panthers would have to cut him and then re-sign him, kind of thing, right? Because they're still paying 7.6. It says down at the bottom, the Panthers are still paying Corbett $7.76 million on a voided contract year, whether he's around or not. But this is a projected price. The positives far outweigh the negatives. If he puts together, like, it's almost like the Panthers cut him and then re-sign him for less.
Dude, to me, I love the move. It's a stopgap move, but he's a good player when he's out on the field. If he's willing to take a deal like that, yeah, why not? Why not bring him back?
You do that and you draft a center.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, we need to draft a center. A lot of people thought that we needed to draft one last year.
Sure. But like that's a way, again, I like this idea of finding players that can still play a little bit, but that eases the transition for a rookie player to come in the best circumstances instead of forcing a fast tracking the development. Yeah.
So moving on here, we have three more calls. We'll get to them here in a minute. NFL analyst implores Carolina Panthers to prioritize Bryce Young's supporting cast. Says the Panthers have one of the best route runners in the game in Adam Thielen and a promising young player in Xavier Leggett. They need more outside help for Young, who finally looked like a franchise quarterback after returning from being benched. They need to improve a lot of positions, but Young's development is still top priority. At the same time, getting Young a legitimate number one wide receiver is difficult, yet attainable objective for the Panthers. They can go for broke for a free agent like T. Higgins, should he test the market. Others like Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, or Canales would cost less, but don't have the long-term upside attached. They can employ trade possibilities. DK Metcalf is known to the coaching staff, and the right move. And this might be the right move this offseason. Garrett Wilson's another player that we talked about. There are many options available to us. We mentioned a lot of them on the Friday Free for All. We talked a lot about all of them. But, Tony, we continue to hear more about T. Higgins after a member of their front office said, it's going to be hard. I've always been very upfront in my desire to have T. Higgins on our team, said someone from the Bengals. I've never not been upfront about that, and that desire continues. But we have to be able to come together with his representation on what that means and what the right number is for his experience, for his play time, for his production.
That's the line that's problematic, though, at the end.
Yeah.
Right? Is that you just said you like T. Higgins, you want him to be on your team. And T. Higgins has said, I want to play with Joe Burrow, right? That type of mentality. But when you say this, that's throwing some shade right there. The right number for his experience, his playtime, his production. What they're saying is bro, you're second fiddle to Jamar Chase. Sorry. I think that right there, that indicates that the number that they're going to give him is not the number that he will seek and believe. And a team that is in desperate need of an addition, like a player like a T. Higgins, a star, a guy that they think is a star, will pay him a number that says his production, his experience, and his play time are great enough to pay him big money. To me, this is a signal that Cincinnati and him are going to have problems coming to an agreement on that time. They're going to want him to take a hometown discount type thing. And now the question is really, I think, Cody, is T. Higgins as good as is he really that guy? Or are we shopping hungry? As you remember, Dave Gettleman used to say, don't shop hungry. Are we at the grocery store and it's dinner time? We haven't eaten all day and we are buying peanut butter, we're buying ribs, we're buying bagels, and the thing don't make sense.
Dude, it's incredible to me how many people have this opinion of T. Higgins. So, one, to dispel a few of the rumors, right? They say that he's injury prone. Has he had some injuries? Yes, but not more than Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has also been injured a couple of years in a row now. But the dude is 6'5". He can pinpoint the football high in the air with the best of them. Sure-handed. He has 2 seasons of over 1,000 yards and damn near went over 1,000 yards this year. And they're going to pay him, man. Someone is going to pay T. Higgins number 1 wide receiver money. I don't know if that will be us, but someone isn't going to do it. People think the Chargers are in the running. The New England Patriots need a wide receiver for Drake May after they just hired Mike Vrabel. So that's another option. There are options for Higgins, but I do agree with the assessment. Now is, in my opinion, the best time to bring in a number 1 wide receiver if you have the opportunity to do so. The question is, do you want to trade for one, or would you rather just pay the money now, grab someone like T. Higgins? Or would you rather give up future draft capital for someone like Garrett Wilson? There's lots of different angles to this.
Well, and then you got to make sure that if you do that, you're going to pay them as well. I'll say this is that in that story, which highlighted 4 names when it came to what was it? T. Higgins. Oh, no, it was T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, and then the last one was Garrett Wilson. To me, the first and the last are the names on that list I'm interested in. DK Metcalf wouldn't be opposed to either. Connections there in Seattle. He did not play under Canales when Canales was a wide receivers coach, but he did play with Doug Baldwin and some guys that just spoke so highly. Recently, I read some comments about DK Metcalf just saying, I didn't play. He wasn't the wide receivers coach when I got here, but the guys that were here in that room with me just kept talking about how detail-oriented was, how great he was. For me, I think Higgins would make a better impact on this team than Keenan Allen and Stephon Diggs. I think that Amari Cooper isn't terrible. I think Amari Cooper's been is a good player. It's kind of underestimated, or he's played solid, but you didn't see him come up big in Buffalo as much as you thought it could be towards the end. I don't mind the T. Higgins name. That is more appealing. Keenan Allen is that's like to be getting them Adam Thielen at this point.
Yeah, and super slow.
I mean, he's a possession receiver. And look, everybody in the chat is just talking about speed. We need a guy that can do everything, that can be a possession receiver, that can hit a home run when you need him to hit a home run. You need Stephon Diggs 4 years ago. You need what Stephon Diggs did for the Bills when he went from the Vikings to the Bills. We don't need Stephon Diggs now.
Yeah. Dude, apparently he's a wild dude. He's out here in these streets, if you know what I'm saying.
Who, Diggs?
Slanging pipe.
Hey, I like it. I got no problem with that. Cody, you want to take another call?
Yeah, let's do it.
The number is 252-228-5098. Man, we appreciate you guys' support. We're live on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, guys. You can really help us by smashing the thumbs up button, subscribe. And one thing you can do is just hit the share button and put it on whatever social media platform you're watching the show on. You can just share it with your friends, and one subscriber at a time, we continue to grow this great community. Cody, let's get to these calls again.
Let's do it.
Yo, what's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys
What up,
have a
man?
good Tuesday. Just wanted to call in. I saw the title of the show on my YouTube feed, so I kind of want to base my call around what the show's going around. Crazy week in the NBA, crazy stuff in the NFL coming out, like the trade season, like deadlines, like always the funnest time in any fan of any league you're in, because like you're in the loop, you're praying, you get this superstar and this player and Luka Doncic to the Lakers. Insane, man, insane. But anyways, all right, so let's talk Panthers. So listen, I'm just gonna be blunt. No Cooper Kupp for me. I don't care about the 4th round pick. Stop going for a supplement option. Like, go for someone that's young, that do the formula, okay? No, the Eagles didn't trade for a 30-year-old Cooper Kupp and Jalen Hurts' 3rd year. The Bills didn't trade for a 30-year-old Cooper Kupp and Josh Allen's third year. Don't do it. He's slow, he's old, he's injury prone, and you pretty much have Harris Teeter discount big card Cooper Kupp and Adam Thielen. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. Essentially, if you want to go get a wide receiver, go make the big move. Go put your balls on the table for Garrett Wilson if he becomes available. What it's looking like is he is going to be available. It's going to be an interesting couple months. Sorry to be blunt there, but man, no. Like, fans, we're so used to settling for scraps, and this is what we're used to. But I'm honestly sick of it. I'm sick of it. We need to hold a higher standard to ourselves at this point. We've given the team passes for years now. We gave them pass this year because it was a rebuild, new team, but they got to start making serious moves, because I can't be sitting here clamoring for 5-win seasons anymore. Got that out of the way. Second thing is Myles Garrett. I would love a Myles Garrett trade. Now, that's a player you can go get because he's in the prime of his career. The last 3 years, 18 sacks, 15 sacks, 14 sacks. The only issue is that he's going to cost you at least 2 first-round picks, and he wants to go compete for a Super Bowl. Sadly, the honest truth is we all got to admit this. We're not competing for Super Bowls. At least, we're not competing for Super Bowls right now. That's just the bottom line, as hard as it is to say. So,
That's the truth.
Again, do you mortgage 2 first-round picks, and then he ends up not signing an extension with you, or he sits out because he's like, I don't want to come play here right now. Like, I wanted to get traded to, like, a top-tier team. So that's ultimately, listen, guys, these are ultimately things you got to think about. I know we're all Panthers fans, but you got to take your hats off at the end of the day and look at this from a realistic perspective. Those are my thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Anthony from.
Great call, Anthony. I think those are important points to consider when it comes to Myles Garrett. And look, it's a fan show. And that is, we are going to talk about the things that fans are talking about. But this is the season of the year where every draft pick, every potential free agent, every trade, the Panthers should be in on.
Can we have it? Can we have it, Dad? Can we have it, Mom? Can we have one?
Yeah.
And we have a Myles Garrett. Can we have a Garrett Wilson? Please.
That's my youngest daughter. She is every day on the way home from school. She says, "Can we get a milkshake?" She starts with the first question, and she asks for like 27 things by the end of the night. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, if we keep pestering our Panther parents, that we might get what we want.
If you badger them long enough, they're going to tell you no, just to shut you the fuck up.
Yeah,
everyone knows.
Got you, Myles Garrett. Shut up.
Everyone knows that's how this works. So maybe if we make enough of a stink and make enough noise, Dan Morgan will hear us tell him to go and get Myles Garrett and bring him to the Panthers.
Mom, please, Dad, please, Dad.
Please.
All right. What do we got next, Cody? Let's hit another call.
Let's do it.
All guys, brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier.
What up, G?
Y'all seen this shit online and on TV. Myles Garrett wants to leave Cleveland. And I'm going to say this right now. I would like him to come to Carolina, but I don't think we can afford him. I really don't. And on top of that, we run a 3-4 now. We still in the 4-3. Yeah, definitely. But I don't think you're going to get him. And another thing that I saw, that Kupp wants to leave L.A., man. Man, I love that dude. I know we got Thielen and everything like that, and Thielen is coming back. But, man, if we can get Kupp, that would be something, man. That would be amazing. But, you know, I don't know, man. Give me your thoughts on that. Would y'all give up the 8th pick in the first round for Myles Garrett in the 3-4? I don't know, man. I do not know. Give me your thoughts on that, y'all. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. I'll say it like this, G. My brother, I do not think it is likely that will happen. However, if it does, you will not hear me complaining about it because there is no guarantee that any player you drafted in the top 15 is going to be anywhere near the level of player that Myles Garrett is. You just can't convince me of it. So I would love it. I think it would be well worth it. And even Cooper Kupp, like if I got a notification on my phone saying the Panthers have traded for Cooper Kupp, that I'd want to see the details of, but I'm not going to flip out because this is the year to do it for Bryce Young. In that third year, this is an incredibly important year to show us what he's going to be capable of in the future moving forward.
All right. Unfortunate news. I just learned tonight on our first Instagram stream, they cut it off at an hour. So first hour exclusive to Instagram. And I could redo it, but it would make sense that we'll have to start doing in hour 2. We got to do this, Cody. We'll recast it to the stream. All right. What do we got? Another call? Let's hit it.
Yeah. So this is Kev. So Tony, I know why Kev has called in. Let's talk about the Cam Newton thing. Let's set this up a little bit before we do. So Cam Newton, has been doing this show on Fox called Special Forces. And it's him and a bunch of other celebrities from other different things. And they're literally doing a military-designed course to test their mettle and bring them, to really show what they're made of, right? We're going to be referencing some of that later, and I'm going to add some of that to bolster my opinion of kind of what's happening around Cam Newton. However, the news story that really made a lot of headlines, Cam Newton was on First Take with Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith asked him point blank, would you give up your MVP if it meant that you got to go back and win a Super Bowl? And Cam Newton straight up said no, that MVP was more important. And listen, I almost want to even find what he said. Dude, it was a word salad.
Oh, hold on. Here, let me see. I think I might can play it from my phone. Let me see if this. Tell me if you can hear this.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to be Michael Jordan. Everybody.
Yeah, we hear that.
All right.
Table and Allen Iverson, would you?
A
guy like Allen Iverson, would you just stood up on the table and?
All right, maybe I just got.
Cam Newton had to say no. Pose this thought: what's more important, impact or championships? You look at a guy like Allen Iverson, would you just stood up on the table and Everybody's not going to be Michael Jordan. Everybody's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's not going to be these individuals who have the luxury of saying, hey, I not only dominated this sport, but I also have championships to back it. Like, let me remind you, Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. So, yes, when you look at those guys and you say, okay, what's more important? Would you have preferred to win a Super Bowl? I think that's the humble approach. But if we're being honest, and you can say as an MVP award winner or an All-American, you've held yourself or you've held your end of the bargain down. It's an interesting conversation.
Okay. I was asked about this by a friend on Pirate Radio, and I had not heard about it. And this is probably the one time that I just it's very difficult for me to just find a way completely to defend Cam to the end on this. And I think I think I found a little way to do it. Is like Cam does make a first. Let's remember this is supposed to be first. It's first take. It's supposed to be hot take, right? And part of his job is to say something that is ultimately controversial. But I think this is like his point is like he would rather be a guy that is the most dominant player in football on a team ultimately that didn't make it to the end. Basically what he was in 2015, a guy that made it to the Super Bowl, was the league MVP. He didn't get the Super Bowl championship. I think the way to like adjust this, if we like could have this conversation with Cam and say, look, man, is like, what if you could be the Super Bowl MVP? Because you referenced Brad Johnson, you referenced Trent Dilfer, and those are guys that were just cogs on a Super Bowl team. But to win the Super Bowl, like, so if you think about this year, is if Patrick Mahomes wins his third Super Bowl in a row and Josh Allen gets the MVP, which one would you want to be? Would you want to be the MVP of the Super Bowl? And that's what really, if Cam would, is this was, I think the other thing is that maybe Cam, I don't know. I mean, what is he thinking? Cody,
I think I can I think I pick up what you're putting down. Tell me if this is in the ballpark, right? So when you're voted NFL MVP, you're unanimously, or depending on how many people vote for you, the best player in the NFL. There's a bunch of dudes who will play NFL football and will never come close to being named the best player in an entire season of football. That's something that, those dudes that he mentioned, Brad Johnson and Nick Foles, they never achieved. But look, let's just keep it real, Tony. Cam Newton has always had to fight the selfish narrative that he was in it for him, that he would put the towel over his head, and when he was winning, everything was roses and butterflies, dude. But whenever things weren't going his way, he was a terrible, shitty loser who was all about himself. And a lot of people felt that was unfair when it was said. Dude, things like this, they don't really go a long way towards dispelling that narrative. Keep in mind, when you're on a Super Bowl team, you're not fighting for yourself and your own personal accolades. It's a team sport. It's you and the other dudes that you're in the locker room with, that you're battling your ass off all year long to win it, not only for them, but for all the fans as well. And you wouldn't want to go back and win that Super Bowl for them instead of that MVP. That's just wild to me. That award means something to him, whereas that Super Bowl award would have meant something to him and everyone else. I just think it was a dumb answer.
I agree. It's not the answer I wish you would have given. And, you got, again, as the greatest Cam Newton apologist in the history of the internet, this guy right here, Tony Dunn, is Cam Newton embracing the villain role for the new part of his career? Does he is this an intentional move to do things like this? I think too, and to go on to what you're saying is like, it's not even just the team, but like football lore. Is imagine if Cam Newton in 2015 wouldn't have been the MVP, but had an MVP type run, but won a Super Bowl. He would have been the greatest quarterback in Panthers history without people ever like questioning anything. It's like his legacy in Carolina would ultimately have been secured. One question that my friend asked, I thought this was great, Cody, is I wonder if what the chat has to say about this is that would you rather have win the National College Championship or win the Heisman?
Ask him one more time.
So my friend asked me on Pirate Radio, Clip Brock, check me out on Pirate Radio 1250. It's live on YouTube. You can check that out on Pirate Radio TV. On Fridays, I'm there every 4 o'clock doing NFL, Carolina Panthers NFL segments. He asked this, is like, he wanted to know, we were talking about this, but then he said, what do you think about this? If you asked him the same question, would you rather give back your Heisman or give back the college national championship? And my friend Clip, I'll get your thoughts on this, and I'll tell you what Clip said.
I mean, again, it's sort of the same thing, right? The Heisman, that's one of the most prestigious football awards ever. To win a Heisman, that's rare air. But I don't know, man. I think that playing on a championship team and being a part of that and actually winning the Natty, to me, it's the same thing. You still got to say the championship.
I think in what Clip said, and I'm just going to parrot him, is because I don't know what I think I kind of agree with him, is that in college, winning the Heisman is the highest accomplishment you could have, even more so than winning the national championship. So in college, it's almost okay to say I'd rather have the Heisman. In the NFL, I don't know if you can say it with the bravado that Cam just said.
Yeah, you can't say it with your chest that much, but Cam did though.
Can we now address this burpee thing?
Well, hang on. So let's let Kevin. So Kevin's cat call talking about Cam, and of course he is defending him.
Yo, with my chocolate espresso. Listen, let me tell you why I'm not disappointed at all in Cam's comments, because in a day you're looking at it as a fan. Of course, the fans would trade in that MVP Cam year for a Super Bowl. Hell, I would trade in that. But we're talking about him and his accomplishments. He accomplished that. He accomplished no fictional Super Bowl. Cam Newton never won a Super Bowl. It's fictional if he won one. He actually won an MVP. He actually was the best player in the league. He earned that. And as a professional athlete, you got to look at what Cam said in his full context through his eyes. They want to maximize their potential, and they want to feel like they're the reason. I don't care what they say in front of the cameras. Bullshit. Nobody wants to feel like they're dragging the team back or holding the team back. He gave his all. He got us there. That's what he was trying to say. Like, no, I don't want to feel like I'm holding the team back. I did my job. I did the best I could.
Yeah, but he won it already, though.
That's why he said, that's why I'm not disappointed. Why? If you don't get that Super Bowl, if you don't have the MVP type season, we're not even close to the fucking Super Bowl. We're not even close to making the fucking playoffs. So, no, I'm not disappointed at all. I get what he was trying to say. And second of all, how many motherfuckers walking around with Super Bowl rings? And how many motherfuckers are walking around with MVPs?
That's the point,
Go
though.
on eBay right now.
No, come
eBay right
on.
now. You will find some Super Bowl rings, actual Super Bowl rings, for sale on eBay. You don't see any MVP trophies.
It doesn't mean you won it, though.
Like, there's I counted. As of right now, there's been 49 MVPs. Like, that's like, as a professional athlete, that's like the hype. Like, yo, I'm the best. I was the best at one point. Like, I get it. Super Bowls are a team thing. You want to win it, but you also want to feel like you're the best as a professional athlete. That's why I'm not disappointed. I get it. Most athletes would say, no, I think so. They're full of shit. Because you know why they're full of shit? Because most guys wouldn't take a fucking pay cut to win a Super Bowl, much less give away their MVP for a Super Bowl. Shit. Most guys wouldn't take fucking $3 million less to win a Super Bowl. So, yeah, I got no problem with it. Those are my thoughts. Peace.
I mean, I hear you, though, but he won the MVP. No one is going to take that away from him. I'm just saying he's not beating the allegations of selfishness. And Tony, then we're going to go into the special forces thing. I would really recommend that you watch this show. If anything, just to see Cam Newton put boxing gloves on and beat the shit out of an Olympic swimmer. Dude, could you imagine?
I saw that.
Imagine having to fight Cam Newton as a part of a challenge. You have to fist fight him.
To Kev's point, I just think they're like, it brings up some good points. I like it. I like taking the other side of the narrative too. Or, you know, there's just a more diplomatic way to say it. Is you say, Stephen A., I'd rather be an NFL MVP who won the Super Bowl the year they won the NFL MVP. And then you don't got to give shit back. All right,
I don't know, man.
So let's talk about this. So I saw, and I'll go back to it. I got this comment starred. Is I hadn't seen this, I hadn't heard this, but back to look, Cam Newton's Panthers gal. She said that. Did you guys see the things about the burpee? I was like, what are you talking about the burpee? She said on the Special Forces show they put an exercise station around the back, and the contestants were supposed to do 20 burpees and had a hidden camera there and busted people. Supposedly Cam said he did 20 burpees and he didn't. I would like to point this out, is I don't know about many. I've always said on this show, Cody, is Cam Newton is that type of guy. If we're playing whatever sport we're playing curling, we're playing ping pong, we're playing frisbee, golf, ultimate frisbee or whatever, and we line up players out there. And we had when we talked about this with Bryce Young, when we drafted Bryce Young, is I'm picking Cam Newton as like first on if I'm team captain, like on. I can't imagine
every team you're picking Cam first.
Yeah, I can't imagine where I'm like, I don't want the 6'5" guy that can run like the wind, who's built like a brick shit house, and you know, like greatest goal line threat in the history of football. But I will say this guy right here, this dude that you're looking at, I go to Takeoff Fitness, by the way. If you're in Greenville, Takeoff Fitness, man, is the place. Join our family there, Takeoff Fitness. My best friend, Sean, is my trainer. He also does virtual training. Like, so he gives you workouts. He keeps in touch with you. Great option. So let me know if you're interested in that. At the end of every month, we have Challenge Week. By the way, this dog just won Challenge Week at the gym. And it's what we do is we set up, it's kind of circuit training, right? So we have 6 stations and it's different every day. But in Challenge Week, one of those stations it stays there all week long, and we keep up. So we do push-ups, like who can do the most push-ups in a minute. I just won the Challenge Week for jump rope, 162 skips in 60 seconds, right? We had a burpee challenge week, right? And I mean, there is I lost the challenge to this guy by the name of Mike Cannon. He's my arch rival, my arch nemesis, because he is a dog, bro. He did 22 burpees in 60 seconds. I did 21 burpees, multiple. I could never crush in 60. Now, that's wearing a 20-pound weight vest too, folks. So does Tony Dunn have one athletic trait that's greater than Cam Newton? What's up?
Well,
21 burpees in 60 seconds wearing a 20-pound weight vest. Visual.
But to me, it's the integrity of it. One, that he said the challenge was do 20 burpees, but we're supposed to just take you on your word that you did 20. Cam only did like 17, and he was done, bro. He was out. He got the fuck out of there. Tony, then there was another one. So Golden Tate is also on the show, former NFL wide receiver, and they have to do a mission where they go into a building and they're wearing gas masks, and they have to find a safe and get the stuff out of the safe and then get out of the building. But they throw them a curveball and they tell them to take off their gas mask. Well, so as soon as they do, there's like gas all around them, and it's like enough to burn their eyes and shit, but it's not toxic. How about Cam Newton fucking panics, forces the door open? Someone's holding the door from the outside, trying to stop him from opening the door. Cam just rips that bitch open instantly and runs out of there, saving himself. Didn't care about Golden Tate, didn't care about finishing the award. And it's just like, damn, man, homie just collapsed the moment the challenge got really tough. And I'm like, bro, this is like almost kind of revealing, man. Like, there's been a bunch of things in a row that I have seen from Cam that I'm just like kind of not happy to see, man. Stuff that I thought we moved past like a long time ago. I don't know. Also, the notion that Cam Newton is still very bothered by the fact They're just not playing NFL football. They're just not being the superhero, super cam that everyone knows him as. And I think that's really worn on him. But watching him fold in some of these competitions, and on top of the stuff that he said, yeah, man, it's kind of disheartening, man.
I'm not gonna freak over this gas one and freaking out, man. I get seasick, dude. So like, I mean, there are things that like just people ain't built for and stuff like that. Is like the and look again, ultimate cam
Travis
apologist.
Kelce's ex-girlfriend completed the challenge, by the way.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The one thing I will remind is that when these reality type shows, they are meant to promote drama and controversy and things like that. So when you talk about the integrity part, is it really? I mean, I don't know. We'd have to really. I would like to. There's so many things. I live in the town that Mr. Beast is from, Greenville. He produces a lot of stuff here in Greenville, North Carolina. He's getting sued all the time by people that are saying they misled, they do this. But the point of these TV shows is to be dramatic, to make people look great, look foolish and stuff. I don't know. I have to go, but we'd like to need to see all the hidden footage and things like that. Was this something where he did, is how much is this revealing about his character and his integrity? I don't know. But I can do 21 burpees with a weight vest on, bro, in a minute. Go. Let's
Cam
go.
Newton, dude. That's insane.
And to someone who said there's multiple stations, I did that in a multiple station challenge. We do 4 rounds, 6 stations, 4 rounds, 60 seconds on, 20 seconds off. I was getting after it. Burpees make me want to throw up, though.
Tony, it is a damn good show, though he's still in it. He's not out of the competition yet. It's every Wednesday night, and I believe they do 2 episodes. It's 8 and 9, I think.
I'm gonna go back and watch all of them. I need to go back.
Do you have Hulu? If you have Hulu, they have them all.
Yeah, I can get whatever. I feel like a failure as a Cam fan for not just being all invested. I did say I was going to do a post game show about this show. I failed. Cam, step it up, bro. I challenge Cam Newton to a burpee challenge on the C3 Panthers podcast. Wearing 20-pound weight vest. Let's go. I will say, being 6'5" and 250 pounds is not an advantage in a burpee competition, though.
I know, dude. Golden Tate had to carry Cam Newton on his back in the last one. So they had to all take turns, like giving each other a piggyback, like walking them up a hill. And then Cam Newton had to jump on Golden Tate's back. And as soon as he said Cam Newton's number, you could see Golden Tate's face like, oh, dude, how the fuck am I about to carry his big ass around? Dude. By the way, Cam Newton is still a unit. Dude, he is every bit of 6'5", 250, bro.
A man built in a lab. Built in a lab.
He really is. That was our final call of the night, Tone. We've done.
Got just a couple more topics to get through. Let's power through. I think is last is this, and really we've talked about most of it, and that is again shout out to catcrave.com. Yeah, as Panther fans, we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective each week. I open up Cat Crave each week. And I check out, or every day, you can just go to catcrave.com. Dean Jones has done a great job there. Storylines here, blockbuster trades that the Carolina Panthers could consider in 2025. We've talked about Cooper Kupp, right, as being one of those potential. Here are the names. Let's do Garrett Wilson. Let's just go through the names real quick.
Right.
Garrett Wilson, Debo Samuel, Grover Stewart.
Which I'm not even player, right? Dude, I honestly didn't even know until I read the article.
Is that Indianapolis?
Yeah, he played for for the Colts. 31 years old.
31.
Experience as a 3-4 defensive tackle and a 3-4 defensive end.
All right. Next name.
Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff, big addition to the Philadelphia Eagles. And, and look, man, you're a Super Bowl team. You're not going to be able to keep everybody. And last name?
Last but not least, the one DK Metcalf.
The names, if I'm just going to give you the ones that I'm interested in, Cody, Garrett Wilson is the most exciting to me. Garrett Wilson's the most exciting to me. The Grover dude is the most plausible to me. And the DK Metcalf is intriguing to me.
Tony, would you be willing to give up a second round this year and next year for Garrett Wilson?
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah, I would too. And it's cheaper. So remember, you're getting a guy who still has 2 years left on his rookie contract, I believe. So you would be able to pair him up with Bryce while Bryce is on a rookie deal. He's on a rookie deal. Garrett Wilson has already co-signed Bryce, says he's incredibly talented. When the Jets and the Panthers did joint training last year, Garrett Wilson had a ton of good things to say about Bryce. Yeah, to me, this might be even cheaper than T. Higgins, and Garrett Wilson might be a better form fit for the Panthers right now, Tony. If we're able to do this, I would do it. What would you rather have, Myles or Garrett Wilson?
Oh, well, man, I think it's Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Although
it would be pretty cool to have that dynamic of an offense. Like, if Garrett Wilson could have that type of rapport with Bryce, and that could really be the number one.
Did he play with Bryce in Alabama?
No, he went to Ohio State.
Okay. Why? It says placing. Oh, no, they're talking about they're talking about Bryce. Okay.
Bryce.
Yeah, yep. I really like Garrett Wilson as a player. I think he's incredible. I think he's kind of like Justin Jefferson-esque in a way.
Yeah.
To me.
Now, is Deebo Samuel a little bit too much of the same thing? We already have Leggett. We already have a Jalen Coker. To me, they're similar skill sets.
I'm the wrong person to ask about Deebo because I've never looked at him as elite. And it's me. It's like a person. Like I just look at him. He looks so stocky and this and that. It just doesn't look like a wide receiver to me. And I'm admitting it. I've underappreciated Deebo Samuel, but I just don't know if he has the. I don't. To me, that's the least interesting name up there.
The least interesting one is Deebo.
Yeah.
But I mean, also,
that's strange, and that's just a personal bias, I think.
I also don't know much about Grover Stewart as a player. I know Bryce Huff is the man. I would love to have Bryce as a defensive player. That would be a good one. But would you rather Garrett Wilson over DK Metcalf? DK Metcalf knows Dan Morgan, knows Dave Canales. By the way, Dave Canales was the wide receiver coach in Seattle before he moved on to be a coordinator.
Dave Canales was, but it was right before. He didn't actually work with DK. DK came in the year after he moved to quarterbacks coach or something like that. But Metcalf has spoken highly just from working with Doug Baldwin, some other players. Look, I would say this is me personally. I would like Garrett Wilson. Like that's the one that would be like, oh shit, this is crazy. This is awesome. You had DK. I'm like, oh, we dogs, bro. Like I would be happy about DK Metcalf getting on this team. Vertical threat, big body. Oh my God. Putting him and Leggett on the.
I know, dude. I'm
open to this one. I'm open. I like this more than I like DK more than Deebo. I like Garrett more than all of them, but like DK might be the best fit in a way.
Yeah, and remember what he was able to do with Mike Evans. That this is the type of receiver. This is the type of receiver.
Type of guy is like a downfield big bottle. We're running a post and just grip it and rip it, bro. But yeah, I mean, look, if we added DK Metcalf to our team, I would be pumped. And to be honest, DK might be a more sure of a fit than Garrett Wilson would be. Garrett Wilson just could have like superstar on him, or he might not. DK is going to be a really good ass player. It's kind of like you said with homeboy from Tampa, is like he just don't get he almost doesn't even. He's like one of the top 10 receivers every year, but nobody's ever talking about being him the best receiver.
Yeah.
I would love DK. All right.
I remember he fell a lot in the first round, or no, in the second round. He went there. He had that incredible 40 time. Dude, he could really do some damage. He would be the over the top threat that I feel like we've been missing for a long time.
He's still young too.
Yeah.
All right.
Indeed, still young. So yeah, man. Now let's make our predictions for the Super Bowl, Tony. We don't even have to spend a lot of time on this. I think
I'm picking the Chiefs. And you know what is I think the Eagles are the best team in football. I think they're the most rounded team. Look, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is better than Jalen Hurts. Both have good defenses. The Eagles have the best defense in the NFL. The Eagles have superstars like that. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, an aging star, and Travis Kelce. The Eagles have an underrated quarterback in Jalen Hurts, where people love to shit on him, but he's really good. And they have fucking superstars from Saquon Barkley to AJ Brown. Deontay Smith is an afterthought, and that mug is freaking awesome. Also one of the most underrated players in the
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith. Yeah. I'm sorry I said something, but one of the underrated players in the league to me is Dallas Goedert. This guy is effing good.
Tony, did you even remember
Greg Olsen-esque to me?
Tony, do you remember? This is in the way back now. Before I started coming on the show full time, I used to call into the cat calls.
Yeah, you were a Dallas Goedert fan.
Yeah, I mentioned Dallas Goedert in the cat calls, and then you had found some video of him and put it in the show. That was like the first player that I ever recommended.
You know, I've always been on the Dallas Goedert train. He's on my fantasy teams. I've made money on him on Underdog Fantasy and stuff.
You know, he's a unicyclist.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Promo code C3P. Look, I guess this is, I know I got a lot of flack from people listening to the show last week when we were talking about this. I am rooting for the Saints in this one. And I said the Saints. What the fuck am I even talking about? The Chiefs. The Chiefs.
No one's rooting for the Saints.
No, I'm never rooting for the Saints. The Chiefs. And that's because I just like the idea of a new storyline to NFL lore with back-to-back Super Bowls. I like Andy Reid. I do like Patrick Mahomes. I know that people are tired of them always just being around. This is going to be a fun Super Bowl to me because I like both. I don't dislike either team. And I have gone every week. We go on Pirate Radio.
I just like the fans. I just like the Philly fans. And even Chiefs fans now are super fucking pretend. I mean, I'm not interacting with them every day, but I feel like everyone has a bad story about Eagles fans.
Dude, did you see the thing about the this was crazy, is that a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you know how they climbed the poles,
yeah.
Dude fell and died.
Oh shit.
The one thing is I can get down on some fanatics. Bro, we're a podcast that is about being a fanatic. I mean, I can even respect the Bills jumping on these tables, having their babies, like when they have a baby, they break a little baby table with them and stuff like that. Like, I can respect that. But do you remember when the damn Eagles won the Super Bowl and that fan picked up horseshit and ate it? Like, I still can't get past that. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, too much, bro. Too much. Like, I can't respect that. I have been an Eagles supporter in a sense, is that all year long when I did the picks on Pirate Radio, it was like the Eagles are the best team. They don't get nobody is in love with them. And the Eagles, I think, are a better team than the Chiefs right now, but nobody is better than Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And until you snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, I'm betting on the damn Chiefs. Sorry, I think that I'm here for it.
I think it'll be a good game.
Super Bowl, though.
I do too. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll look very similar to the last time they played in the Super Bowl.
Which, if that's the case, you need to go to Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code C3P, and then do the less than on Patrick Mahomes, because out of all the Super Bowls that Patrick Mahomes had, he had the least passing yards against the Eagles. And I'm a giant Nick Fangio fan when it comes to defense. And watch out. That defensive front from the Eagles just eats and eats and eats. There's so many names on it. It's just nasty.
So much talent. They probably have the best defensive front seven in the NFL, and they probably have the best offensive line in the NFL.
Which is crazy because they've had some transition on it. All right. That is it.
All right, I wanted to answer Stonewall, who donated $1.99 and said, what would DK cost? They said that Seattle has a complex conundrum with Metcalf. He's entering the final year of his deal and is set to count over $31 million in their salary cap in 2025. The choice is simple. Trade the player away for sufficient compensation or extend him. This could be a realistic option for the Panthers. It also keeps a sense of familiarity around Canales as the head coach looks to build upon a promising first year. So I don't know how much we would take on from that number and how much they would, but he is due to be paid $31 million in 2025. That's it. Check out Carolina.
We got one more segment to do, guys. Don't forget. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your time, attention, your energy. Thank you to the super chatters today. Those direct donations really help the podcast. Just meet the cost of just paying the StreamYard, paying for the services, whether it becomes from like having the athletic and all these different things that we do to try to make this show as best as we can. We're thankful for any direct donation that you can make. You can support the show by supporting our sponsors, but the best thing and most thing I'm most appreciative of is your time, energy, and attention, and your voice, which really makes this show go. We could not do it without your input. The comments, the calls, they make it go, man. It's like it makes the show easy for us. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, check us out on all the social media platforms, and a great thing you can do, it is free. Smash the thumbs up button, like them. But sharing it, man, sharing it. I know it sounds like a little thing, but not enough, but I want more people to just copy the link and say, I listened tonight, you should check it out. That helps us grow. You can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, Cody, and they can go to the shop tab. They can hit gear, and they can buy stuff like the C3 Panthers Podcast t-shirt. You can get the C3 Panthers Podcast mug, which is the gem. The mug is the gem. That's the gem up there. You can get the You Make Me Fucking Sick t-shirt. There's a lot of cool stuff up there. Shut the hell up. Shout out to Panther Pickle and the Legion who are doing their thing always. Cody, there's one final segment to do. That is the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. It's where our homage to Steve Smith, where we ice up someone or multiple people. We tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. Are you ready to ice some fools up?
Let's do it.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. Everyone is fair game, from ex-wives to ourselves to 12-year-old kids in Oklahoma that we've never met. We've even iced up David Tepper, and sometimes we just have fun watching people almost die on the internet. Cody, Black, do you got any ice ups for me this week?
I do. They're not as fun as ice ups in the past, but I'll be damned if they're not ice up worthy. Ice up to the New Orleans Saints, for doing damage control for known clergy pedophiles.
Oh, gosh.
This was put out by the AP News, who talked about judges and politicians and people in the media who were basically running interference for some very heinous crimes by people in New Orleans and Louisiana and moving these people around. Just terrible, man. Sick shit. How ironic that a team called the Saints is a team that's doing shit like this. And my final one, Tony. I'm icing up the UK. Shout out to our brothers and sisters across the pond. A 25-year-old woman faces possible jail time after pleading guilty in UK's first ever cyber farting case. Accused of sending numerous videos of herself farting to her boyfriend's ex, causing distress and anxiety.
Cody, there has never been a better setup for an ice up pick than what I've got than just that right here. And this is a ice up. My first ice up pick is a celebration of being stupid and great jokes here. Let me see. Let's do this. This bug's in Costco or whatever he is, and he just walks up and this on the intercom. He just farts to me. Ice up, toughen up, get it together. That is hilarious to me. My next ice up pick goes to guinea pigs. Guinea effing pigs. Fuck those pigs. And fuck those stupid ass people that buy them pigs. They're rats. They're big ass rats. And they stop your house from getting sold. Stupid ass mugs. Stupid ass mugs. Ice up. Ice up. Cody, been great hanging out with you, having fun talking about the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast. My name's Tony Dunn. That's Cody Lack. Take us out of here, homie.
C3 Legion. Until next time, man. We love you. Until this Friday at 7 p.m. for another edition of the Free For All. That's the Professor Tony Dunn. I'm Cody Lashney. Keep pounding.
I can do more bumper burpees than Cam.